Hello everyone and welcome to this video about footwork. So I'm going to be presenting to you a bunch of exercises to improve your footwork. They are all made for beginners. They are very basic, very simple, and they do not require any kind of equipment. So the idea with footwork is that you want to be able to move around freely in all directions while maintaining your guard up. All those exercises, as I just said, are very basic, very simple, but I think they will provide you with good foundations, and they can also be used as a warm-up before your training. So I hope you enjoy those exercises, and I'll see you after the video. Okay, so the first exercise is simply stepping forward. So get into your guard stance and push from the rear leg. Try to be explosive in the movement. You can think of a sprinter in the starting block, you know, the way they push when they initiate their race. You can try different length for your steps, and then you perform the same exercise in the unorthodox stance. The second exercise is simply the opposite of the first. So this time you're going to step backward. So get into your guard position and push from the front leg. And make sure to keep your feet as close to the ground as possible when stepping. And then perform the same exercise in the unorthodox stance. The third exercise is about mixing forward and backward stepping. Now you can dash forward and dash backward as quickly as you can. Eventually it will look like you are bouncing back and forth. You can also do it with several steps forward, several steps backward. Play with the length of the steps, okay? Try to be a little bit creative in this exercise. You have a bit more freedom. And then you perform the same exercise in the unorthodox stance. The fourth exercise is stepping sideways. So step to your left while maintaining your guard up and face forward. Then step to the right and then perform the same exercise in the unorthodox stance. Something you can do also is, if you want to improve the strength in your calf, because the calves are responsible for the majority of the quality of your footwork, you can add a shuffle every time you reach the end of the line. Shuffle, step right, shuffle, step left. Fifth exercise, the square. So in this exercise, we are going to mix all the previous exercises and they all come together. You imagine a square on the ground and you follow the sides on the square. You go around one way and then you go around the other way. And then you change stances. So you perform the exercise in your normal stance and then in the unorthodox stance. The sixth exercise is diagonal stepping. So this time you're going to step left at a 45-degree angle, switch stances, and then step right at a 45-degree angle, and then repeat, repeat, repeat. Then you will accelerate this movement, you will accelerate the process to try to be as fluid as possible in the execution. Seventh exercise, so it's the opposite of the one just before. So this time you're going to step diagonally but backward. So this can be a little tricky, so start slow and then accelerate. So you start with stepping backward at a 45-degree to your right, you switch stances and you step backward at a 45-degree angle to your left. And then you accelerate the process to make it look more and more fluid. Eighth exercise. So this one is called the pivot. So it's a very, very simple exercise. You can use an object if you want to pivot around. And the idea is to quickly move from facing forward to facing the side. and you need to perform the exercise in both stances. And so finally, everything comes together in this exercise that I call the big square. So you're going to imagine a big square with its diagonals and its medians. And the idea is to move along all those lines. And at each intersection, you can change directions. You can use the pivot. You can switch stances. You can change direction. The only rule is that you need to stay on the lines. And then you can have fun and move around, move around, move around. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Of course, there are many more exercises when it comes to footwork, more complex, that require equipment. I'm sure you've all seen all those really impressive images of people performing those really quick steps on ladders. Of course, you can do all these things, but really I think those basic exercises I just showed you will already provide you with good foundation. You can always use the big square, the last exercise, as your go-to exercise for footwork. But it can also be a good idea to go back to the other ones, the very basic ones. Very often, being very good at something is simply about having really strong basic foundations. There are two things you need to pay attention to when it comes to practicing the footwork. The first thing is look ahead. I see a lot of people, while they are moving around, because they are so focused on staying on the lines, on the diagonals and the medians, that they keep looking down. So of course you should not do that, okay? You should always be looking ahead as if you were really facing an opponent. The other thing also is about practicing in both stances. There is a tendency to stick to the stance you are more comfortable with, but you should try to work with both stances. In my opinion, if you start doing this from your early training, I think it's better. I think it's a good thing to be as versatile as possible when you are a kickboxer, and I think you should be able to box in both stances. And the last thing is about the distance between the feet. Try to keep your feet always at the same distance. Basically, the idea is that your feet should never touch each other. Okay? If your feet touch each other, that means you are not stable. Okay? If you put your feet together and someone pushes you, you will immediately fall back. So you know that the feet together position is very bad for stability. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was useful and that you did learn something. There is an ebook available to you for free. The link is in the description, so don't hesitate, just click on it. And I'll see you around. I'll see you around. Okay, let's try this again.